Welcome to Stellar Sisters, the podcast where cosmic wisdom meets soul-enriching conversation.
We explore astrology, human design, and the unique blueprint of your soul, helping you understand yourself on a deeper level.
Consider this your permission slip to embrace the magic of being authentically you.
Let's begin. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Stellar Sisters podcast. We're your hosts, Chanel and Sydney, and today we are doing a special episode all about the astrology horoscopes for 2026. In our last episode, Chanel went over all of the astrology, or the most important astrology for 2026, and explained what it all means. And today we're going to get a little bit more personal, so you can listen to your horoscope and actually see where this is going to be happening for you, what houses it's going to be hitting. So we're excited to dive into this episode. And before we get started, just have a little fun thing to do in the beginning. Today is the winter solstice when we're recording, first day of winter.
Yeah.
And the holidays are happening and coming up, and we're about to go into 2026. So Chanel, I want to know, what are your favorite things to do during this time? Traditions? What are some things you like to do?
Yeah. So what comes to mind every year is, my family is Polish and I'm Polish, if you couldn't tell by my very Polish last name. And so for Christmas Eve every year, we always make homemade pierogies. And that's probably my favorite holiday tradition that we have, because A, they're delicious, but B, it does make me feel very connected to my ancestors, because my great grandparents came over from Poland, and it's her pierogi recipe that we use, my great grandmother. And so that's one thing that I love doing, and something that I hope to continue with my kids, when they're old enough to really help. And Anna is starting to really like to help in the kitchen too, so that's fun.
Yeah, that's so much fun. I love that.
Yeah. What about you?
During this time, one of my favorite things is baking cookies, and baking the things my grandma used to cook. She used to bake like 15 different types of cookies and have them all labeled and marked in cookie tins. And I'm allergic to peanuts, so she would have a nut-free plate, and then she'd have like a full-on nut and peanut butter plate, and just bring out all the cookies. And I don't know, I just have such fond memories of that. So baking cookies, and I also just love driving around and looking at all of the lights this time of year. It's so relaxing. And there's this one street in our neighborhood that they have these huge candy canes, like really like taller than a human, and they line the street with them. And it used to just be like two houses, but now almost everybody on this one, it's like a shorter street, but everybody on this street has these tall candy canes lit up, and we call it Candy Cane Lane. And my daughter's just so into it. It's almost like every night she's like, "Can we drive by Candy Cane Lane?"
Aww.
So, I used to only do it maybe like once or two nights during the holiday season, but we've gotten to drive around the neighborhood a lot this year. And it's just really fun. And it also gives us something to do to kind of kill the time before bedtime.
Yeah.
Trying to keep her up a little bit later, because there was a stretch where she was waking up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., like wide awake and wired. And we've moved her bedtime a little bit later, and she's been sleeping regular hours. That's been fun.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then just holiday movies. I love watching some similar movies every single year. One of my favorites is Little Women, the 1994 version. It's one of my favorites.
I don't know that I've seen it, which I'm kind of embarrassed to say, but I know that sounds like a really good one. Um,
It's so good.
yeah.
There's so many Little Women renditions, I feel like, these days, but the 1994 is my favorite. Like, you cannot beat Susan Sarandon as Marmee the mom, and Winona Ryder's in it, and Christian Bale, and Claire Danes, and Kirsten Dunst. It's just, and the costumes and the scenery. It's so good.
Mm, I might have to watch that.
Yeah, good one. What's your favorite holiday movie or Christmas movie?
I mean, I love Elf. I love Home Alone, the classics.
Yes, Home Alone, so good.
Um, we always watch Four Christmases too with Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn.
Uh-huh.
That one's
Yeah.
always so funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we've been watching a lot of Christmas movies recently. But those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them are so bad, like the made for TV ones.
So
Um,
bad, but so good.
what's Snow Bad?
I said so bad, but so good.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Like they're so bad, they're good.
Yes, I know. Some of them are so bad that I can't even watch them. But yeah, some of them are so bad that they're good, and just like the cozy feel, and it's like so predictable, and you know,
Yeah.
there's one on Netflix this year called Champagne Problems. Like, just one of those corny ones, but
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
It's set in Paris. It's like about a winery that's going bankrupt and they're trying to save it. But it has like a cute love story. You'd like it, I think.
Probably. Paris,
Because
I'm
it's in
sold.
France.
Yeah.
Chateaus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just quickly want to do a this or that for the holidays. What would you prefer, this or that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. So, old family traditions or creating new ones?
I guess if I had to pick one, creating new ones because I'm loving creating my own traditions with my son and my family, and that's feels really fun and exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you can say both for some of these. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like,
don't have like a ton of crazy like old family traditions, which I think is why I'm so excited to create new ones for my son. But it is like Christmas hits different when you're a parent. Like Trevor and I were just talking about how fun Christmas was as a kid, but like all of that Christmas magic as a parent, like that's on you to create that for your children. And not that you have to do anything like super extravagant, because I think when a kid, everything just feels so magical.
mhm.
But I feel like I am taking that like I want to make sure that I make the holidays fun and magical for, my son.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say both for this, but I think I agree. I think I like creating new memories with Faye. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
One thing we started doing is we have a pretty big backyard and the deer always come through. So we feed the reindeer and we throw carrots over the fence because they just hang
Oh,
out back there, and that's so
yeah.
fun. She like loves it.
Oh my gosh, that would be so magical.
Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, baking/cooking together or ordering takeout?
Oh, baking and cooking together all
Same,
day. Yeah.
same. Sweet treats or savory snacks?
Oh, both. I can't choose.
I'm gonna say sweet treats. I have a big big gathering or small intimate circle?
um, Small and intimate.
Me too. Small and intimate. Hosting or just showing up with the dish?
Um, we do both, actually. We have Christmas Eve at our house, and then Christmas Day we go to Trevor's dad's house. So, um, I kind of like hosting in a way because I like to create like little magical moments or spaces in my house. But then it's also nice to like go to someone else's house and have them make the mess. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I prefer going and not hosting and showing up with like my one good baked good.
Yes.
Um, movie marathon or quiet reading time?
Christmas time movie marathon.
Same. Minimal decor or just Christmas holiday decor everywhere?
I'm a minimal decor person. Like, I don't, we have a small home, so like too much is just like overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, overstimulating. So, I think a little touches here and there are nice.
I'd say I'm somewhere in between. I don't have like an extravaganza all over the house, but it's not minimal either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, decorating early or last minute magic?
Um, we put our tree up right before Thanksgiving this year, which I would say is really early for us.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm still doing like different Christmas crafts and Christmas decor stuff, and it's December 21st. So I guess I'm a mix of both.
Yeah, I am not a put up my tree person like November 1st, but I always like to get it that weekend after Thanksgiving, like the Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I guess that's earlier or maybe what most people do. I have no idea what most people do. Um, but I'm definitely not a last minute person. I like to have everything decorated for most of December.
Yeah.
Um, okay, handwritten cards or voice notes slash FaceTiming.
I mean, what beats a handwritten card? That's so nice. But I don't send Christmas cards. Uh,
Oh, it's so funny.
so voice notes and text message pictures will have to do.
Yeah.
So
I know. I'm someone who still sends a Christmas card or a
yes, you
holiday
are
card.
every year.
Yeah. And the reason I do it is because I love making the card, getting the card. I love getting like the physical card, like the stack of them, and
Yeah.
stuffing the envelopes and putting on the stamps. Like I love that. I love going to the post office and mailing them. That probably sounds so weird, but I love it.
Oh, I
Um,
hate the post office. It stresses me out. I feel like
well,
I never know what to do. I'm always like fumbling around.
yeah, I mean, I typically hate the post office, but I like the act of going and like finally getting to mail them off. I don't know, they're just so magical to me, and I know a lot of people just don't do them anymore. And actually, this year I've been like, should I keep doing these? Do people even like getting them? Because I like receiving other people's cards. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do next year, but because I love the act of it, I think I might keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really lighting you up. So I think you should keep doing what you love. And I love getting your card. It's on our fridge right now. So
Yay. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
I hope most people at least keep it for a little while before throwing it away. Okay, couple more. Snowy day or sunny winter walk?
um, snowy day.
Yeah, me too. Has to be.
Yeah.
Hot chocolate or herbal tea?
Oh, I love a good tea. I probably drink more tea than I drink hot chocolate, but hot chocolate's delicious.
Yeah. I have to say hot chocolate, I think, just during this time of year specifically.
Yeah.
Gifts or experiences?
Experiences.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's definitely changed for me in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
I just feel like I don't need gifts anymore, and the experiences are so much more meaningful and more fun, and you actually remember them.
Yes, agree.
Um, journaling or meditation?
um, Journaling.
Yeah, I think I have to say journaling too, and I'd also add in breath work. I've been doing breath work recently, and that's been more nervous system regulating than meditation for me these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like journaling because it feels like all the thoughts in my head I can get out onto paper.
Yes, yes, I love that too. And last one, I love winter or I survive winter.
I love winter.
I love winter too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get into the horoscopes. I'm excited to do this. And for listeners, just so you know, we will timestamp all of the horoscopes so you can skip ahead to your rising sign or sun sign. Chanel, is that what
Yeah,
you?
so that was a little note I was going to make. So I do recommend listening for your rising sign. Your rising sign is going to be the most accurate horoscope for you. But I think you can listen to your rising sign and your sun sign and kind of to get like a little combo reading or maybe a little bit more nuance. But because I sometimes do resonate with like my sun sign horoscope as well as my rising sign horoscope.
Me too. I
Um, so I would read for rising first, and then if you want a little bit more context or nuance, you can listen to sun sign. Or even if you know you have a night chart, you can listen to your moon sign instead of your sun sign.
mhm.
Um, and you know if you have a night chart, if your sun is in houses 1 through 6. Um, so yeah, but definitely listen for rising sign. If you don't know what your rising sign is, you can look up your chart. You just need your birth time and location. And you can pull up your birth chart on our website, stellarsisterspodcast.com.
Yes, and I would also add I love listening for my partner's rising sign too.
Mm-hmm.
See what's going to go on with him for the year and like even your kids, just people that are close to you. It's nice to listen for their rising sign as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, we have a visual of the chart pulled up. But if you're listening, no problem. We'll just talk about the transits that are happening. Okay, so we're going to start with Aries. And so if you are an Aries rising or an Aries sun, here's your 2026 horoscope. So for Aries, you have Saturn entering your first house. Saturn is where you might experience challenges, uh, discipline, responsibility, and a sense of maturity. And so, with Saturn in the first house, you're really taking responsibility for your health and your wellness and your overall life direction and your sense of self and your sense of independence. And so, this is a major turning point and chapter beginning in your life where you might learn more self reliance and independence. Now, where Jupiter is transiting in your chart, Jupiter is expansion and growth and luck and opportunity. We're starting with Jupiter in your fourth house of home and family in Cancer. This could look like moving or renovating or buying a house. This could look like reconnecting with family. There's a lot of luck and expansion in your living situation and with family dynamics as well. Now, Jupiter will move into Leo, into your fifth house in July. This looks like luck and possibility in terms of dating and romance. So, if you are single, it's a great time to potentially meet somebody. This also looks like a possible pregnancy as well, if you are looking to get pregnant or hoping to conceive. But definitely lean into your creative side and what makes you feel joyful and playful with that Jupiter there in the fifth house. Now, where the eclipses are times of change. So we have some eclipses coming up in your 6th house, which is a house of work and health. So it looks like there could be some changes to your work. Maybe you're getting a new job. Maybe you are getting a promotion. You're getting a raise. Something is being shaken up in your work life. This also could look like changes to health routines or patterns as well. Maybe you're taking responsibility for your health this year. We have also an eclipse in your 12th house, which is really about exploring your inner world, diving into some healing, some emotional pain maybe from the past, but that's really asking you to kind of explore this dynamic. You might feel a pull inwards to kind of do some inner exploration and healing there. We also have the eclipses coming up again in your 5th house of Leo, which just kind of adds to, romance changes, dating changes, again, points to pregnancy or conception, if that is something that you're hoping for. And again, North Node eclipses in your 11th house. So this looks like leaning into your community more. Maybe you are meeting more like-minded people. You are connecting with friends. You're deepening connections in your social circle, your networks, your communities. It's a beautiful time to kind of really expand your social life as well. So that's your horoscope for an Aries rising. Let's move on to Taurus rising. So for Taurus rising, you are experiencing Saturn going through your 12th house. So Saturn is where there might be challenges or restrictions or discipline. And the 12th house is the house of your subconscious. It's the house that represents your emotional health, your mental health. With Saturn going into the 12th house, this is really calling your attention inwards and really reflecting on maybe some of those subconscious patterns or programmings and asking you to rewrite the story there. So I do recommend people experiencing this transit finding a healer, finding a therapist, someone to kind of process this deep inner world that is really asking of your attention as we get into 2026 that can help you process these things. Where you're experiencing growth and hope and optimism. Jupiter is in your 3rd house in Cancer. This is all about speaking your mind, speaking your truth, finding your voice. This is also about stimulating your mind, taking a new course. What do you want to learn about? What do you want to dive into mentally? If you are a writer or like writing, this would be a great time to start that journey if you haven't already. Jupiter will also move into your 4th house of home and family. So this is luck, expansion, growth in terms of your home and living situation. This could look like buying a home. This could look like moving or renovating a home. Or this could look like reconnecting with family or some healing coming to family dynamics as well. Now, where the eclipses are hitting, eclipses are times of change and where change will really be taking place in your life. Chapters beginning and chapters coming to an end. So we do have an eclipse, a South Node eclipse in Virgo in your 5th house. This is the house that relates to dating and romance and pregnancy and children and creativity. So it does look like there are some shakeups there. This could be, again, maybe changes in dating, meeting a partner, putting yourself out there. This could look like a possible pregnancy if that is something that you're looking for. And this could just be reigniting your creative spark as well. This is the North Node in Pisces in your 11th house. So it looks like you will be having expansion or growth or increased time and energy for your friends, your social circles, your community. that way with the North Node in Pisces. It looks like a very supportive time for friends and community. Now, again, we are having eclipses back in your fourth house of home and family, that house of Leo. So this, again, I'm coming back to an energy of a possible moving, like I said before, or changing homes or changing family dynamics. And then we have a North Node eclipse in Aquarius, which is your 10th house of career and professional life. So it does look like there are some pretty major changes that are just beginning to shift in 2026 that will actually go into 2027 as well. But I'm looking at a possible career change, a promotion. It looks like your career is elevating in some way, or you'll be spending a lot more time and energy and focus in your career as we get into 2026. And so, Taurus, that is your horoscope. We're going to move on to Gemini. So if you are a Gemini rising, you are just starting to experience Saturn entering your 11th house. Now, Saturn is where we face challenges, restrictions, discipline. And so Saturn in the 11th house of friends and community and networks is really asking you to kind of focus on your friendship circle or your community or the people you surround yourself with. And you might really be feeling pulled to want quality friendships over quantity of friendships, and being very selective about your time and wanting, realizing or maturing and realizing that, oh, the quality of the people and the community that I have around me is so much better than just the quantity of people that I have around me. So there might be a little pruning process in terms of your friendships and your communities starting in 2026. Now, where Jupiter is the planet of luck and growth and hope and optimism. And you're starting the year with Jupiter in Cancer in your second house. So this is boding very well for you in terms of finances. It looks like there is some more money coming to you if it hasn't already. In 2026, this could look like getting a raise, starting a new stream of income. It does look like money is increasing. So that's very positive for Gemini risings. And then Jupiter is moving into your third house of Leo. So Jupiter will be moving into Leo in July of 2026. So Leo is the house where Jupiter is entering, and we're also having eclipses here. So the third house is definitely a big emphasis for you. It looks like Gemini loves to talk and read and write and speak, and Jupiter entering the third house is a match made in heaven for you. So it looks like you're really getting to speak your mind, speak your truth, really being able to exercise your mind, to learn something new, to make sure that you are reading and writing and getting all of your thoughts out. This is a very beautiful time for you to experience your natural talents of reading, writing, speaking, learning, communicating. So that's going to be a big part of 2026 and even going into 2027 as well. Now, where the eclipses are periods of change where, there are major chapters ending and beginning. And so we have a South Node eclipse in your fourth house of home and family. So for Gemini risings, this could look like moving or renovating, or maybe you are have changing dynamics with your parents or your family of origin. So some pretty major shakeups have happened or will happen in terms of home and family and living situation. And then you also have an eclipse in your 10th house, which is the house of career and the a house of your professional life. So you've had a pretty major chapter of like taking on a lot of responsibility in work over the past 2 or 3 years. And, now this year might be the time where there's some sort of, where your effort in your discipline that you've put into career over the past couple of years is really paying off. So this could look like a promotion. This could look like a raise. This could look like really stepping into this next chapter of career for you. Now you also have an eclipse happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house is the house of spirituality, of philosophy, of religion. It's also the house that represents foreign travel or foreign places, and also higher education or higher learning. So this can be a year where you really start to question or process your faith or your religion, or really reconnecting with what faith and religion mean to you. This is a great time to take a trip abroad. Get out of your comfort zone, expand your horizons. And for those of you who are potentially looking to go back to school, thinking about grad school, or even just schooling in an informal way, this could be a time when you really start that chapter of your life as well. So that's your horoscope for Gemini risings. Okay, we have Cancer rising. Here is your 2026 horoscope. Cancer rising, you are just having Saturn entering your 10th house of career and professional life. So Saturn is where we might experience challenges or discipline or restriction, or where we're really being asked to be very focused and disciplined in our lives. So career is beginning to have a much bigger focus for you as we enter 2026. You might start to question, am I in the right career path? Am I doing what I am meant to do? There might be some changes coming up in terms of your career. You might be taking on a lot of responsibility and a lot of discipline and a lot of effort at work, and know that this is a period, where Saturn is really asking you to focus on this work, and your long-term effort will really pay off. But career is going to be a huge emphasis for you starting in 2026 for the next couple of years. The good news is Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion and growth, is in your first house, which is the house of self. It's the house that represents you and your identity. So it looks like there's a renewed sense of identity here happening, a renewed sense of there's a pep in your step. There's luck is on your side. You are reconnecting with your sense of self. Maybe there is positive changes happening as well in terms of your health and wellness. Now that planet of luck, Jupiter, will move into your second house of finances, which is very bodes well for you financially. It looks like as we get into the second half of 2026, when Jupiter enters Leo in July, it will be there for a whole year. So it looks like kind of tying back into the career themes, there does look like financial opportunity there for you. Your finances and your personal income will increase as we get into 2026, which is very, very positive and optimistic for you. Now, the eclipses are where there's some shakeups in your life. There are things changing. There are things shifting. We have a South Node eclipse in your third house. So this is really asking you to hone in on your communication, the way that you speak, and really speaking your mind, making sure that you are really standing up for yourself and speaking your truth. This could also be asking you to exercise your mind, learning something new, taking a new class, reading, writing, teaching, communicating. All of those things are kind of coming to the forefront for you this year. Now, opposite that, we have some North Node eclipses in Pisces in your 9th house, which is the house of spirituality, philosophy, religion, travel, foreign travel, and higher education. So it looks like you are maybe really diving into your religion, what resonates for you, your religion or your faith might be changing, and you might be really diving into new faith-based practices. Travel abroad is definitely in your future as well as we get into 2026. Now, lastly, we do have eclipses starting in your 8th house, which is your Aquarius house. So this could be changes in terms of finances, meaning loans, taxes, a mortgage, inheritance. There could be big financial changes that way. And it also could look like some more internal emotional changes happening as well. So kind of diving into in internal emotional space and healing, finding healing there around maybe some internal struggles that you may have faced in the past. So that is the 2026 horoscope for a Cancer rising. Okay, Leo rising. This is your 2026 horoscope. Leo, this is a big year for you. You are really in the spotlight in a lot of ways as we get into 2026. So we're starting off with Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion and growth and opportunity. It's the luckiest planet in astrology, in your 12th house, which is the house that represents your subconscious, your internal world, your mental and emotional health. So it looks like there's some really beautiful opportunity for healing in terms of these aspects as we begin 2026. And then when Jupiter enters Leo in your 1st house in July, you're going to feel a renewed sense of self. You're going to feel a renewed sense of identity. And it's a really beautiful time where luck and opportunity are coming to you in really all aspects of your life, especially now that you've had some internal healing with that Jupiter in the 12th house. Now, we also have eclipses starting in Leo in your 1st house. So you're really able to shed old patterns, shed old identities, old, ways of being that you may have outgrown. And so really you're able to let that go and step into a more authentic version of self as we get into 2026. Huge year for you, Leo, but beautiful. I love this energy for you. Now, Saturn will enter your 9th house. So Saturn is the planet that represents where we might experience challenge or restriction or maturity and responsibility. Now, the 9th house is the house that represents faith and spirituality and religion. It's also the house of higher education, and it's also the house that represents foreign travel. This can be a time where you are really reevaluating what your faith and spirituality and religion means to you, because up until this point in your life you may have been practicing one way, and you might be really diving in and experiencing new things in terms of your faith and spirituality. So really lean into that and dive into that, and that might be a process that you go through over the next couple of years. You might also want to go back to school, learn something new, and travel abroad. If that's calling to you, take a trip abroad. That would be a really beautiful way to experience this transit, to get out of your comfort zone and expand your horizons. Now, where the eclipses are major changes. So you have South Node eclipse in Virgo in your 2nd house. It does look like there are some changes in terms of money and finances. So this could look like getting a new job, or potentially finding a new stream of income, or something related to finances. But it does look like there's some shakeups in terms of the way that you earn money. Now, alternatively, this is the North Node in Pisces eclipse in your 8th house. The 8th house is a house of finances in terms of mortgages, taxes, loans, debts, and inheritances. So there could be changes that way. Maybe you're able to take out a loan, secure financing for something that you need, or even if you're partnered or married, there could be changes to their financial situation that maybe help or benefit you in some way. Now, lastly, we are starting to have eclipses in Aquarius in your 7th house. This is your house of marriage and partnership. So this could look like meeting a partner. This might be a time where you get engaged or get married, or you're really taking the next step with a partner. But there are some changes coming to partnerships. And if you're single, this would be a really great time to date and put yourself out there, as you might be able to meet someone new. Okay, that is your horoscope for Leo rising. Okay, Virgo rising. This is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Virgo. So Saturn is entering your 8th house this year. Now, Saturn represents where we will experience responsibility and discipline and maturity and sometimes restriction and challenges. Now, Saturn going into the 8th house can really ask you to get yourself together financially in terms of, debt and loans and taxes and things and investments. So you can really kind of be focusing on your financial situation with Saturn there. This can also ask you to get your stuff together in terms of mental, emotional experiences and maybe some past psychological pain or trauma. And so it can be a good time to find a healer or a therapist or someone who can potentially help walk you through some of that stuff if you feel like that is coming up for you during this time. Now, Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and hope and optimism, is in your 11th house of friends and community. So it does feel like your social circle is expanding. You are finding community, you're finding people that are like-minded. So it does seem like there's a lot of support there in terms of friendships and networks and community. Now, Jupiter will also enter Leo in July of 2026, which is your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is the house of the subconscious. It's the house where we really turn inwards and reflect on our patterns and internal motivations and where we kind of store even some trauma and some pain. So kind of going back to what we talked about earlier with Saturn, it does look like there's a beautiful opportunity for healing, for hope, for expansion, for releasing some of those patterns that may have kept you feeling stuck. You're able to really kind of go inwards and find some inner healing and hope, which is really beautiful for you, Virgo. You really, really, really deserve that. And kind of in a similar vein, we have a South Node eclipses happening in your 1st house where you are really able to let go of outdated versions of self. This year, you're kind of like a snake shedding its skin, so really allow yourself to step into this new version of self. Take help from friends and know that the healing is possible and the healing is here. Now, you also have a North Node eclipse in Pisces in the 7th house. You've had some really heavy years with Saturn there happening in your 7th house of relationships. So this could, the relationships could have felt heavy. Or you could have felt like you're putting a lot of work into your relationships the past couple of years. Saturn is out of that house now. And with this eclipse there, you're really able to maybe put into practice the lessons that you've learned over the past couple of years in terms of relationships. Maybe you've gotten engaged, maybe you've gotten married, maybe you've met a partner, maybe you have broken up with a partner. over the past couple of years. And this eclipse is really going to help you start fresh and have some new energy into your relationships, no matter where you are in terms of your relationships. And then lastly, we have eclipses happening in your sixth house, which is the house of work and health. So it does look like there is some changes coming up either in your work life or your health life. Maybe you are focusing more on your health. It looks like you might be able to really make some positive changes, or there might be some changes to work where you take on a new role at work, more responsibility at work. Maybe you even get a promotion or get a new job, but some changes definitely to your work life as well. But a beautiful year of healing for Virgos. So that is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Libra, this is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Libra. Saturn will enter your seventh house of relationships in 2026, and it will be there for the next couple of years until 2028. This is really a year and a time where you're being asked to look at your relationships. This could be a marriage partner. This could be a long-term partner. Or if you're single, this could just be all of your one-on-one close relationships as well. But this is a time where maybe relationships feel like a little bit more challenging, like you have to put a little bit more work and effort into your relationships. And I want to remind you that sometimes conflict in relationships is growth wanting to happen, because Libras can be very self-sacrificing. Libras can just, want to keep the peace. But I think this transit is really teaching you to stand up for yourself, to know that conflict is okay. Conflict can be, again, growth trying to happen. So there's a lot of growth trying to happen in terms of your relationships this year. And conflict is okay, and standing up for yourself is okay, and having your own needs is okay for Libra. Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and optimism and hope and expansion. Jupiter's in Cancer, which is your 10th house of career and professional life. So this is a very lucky year for you professionally in terms of your career. This looks like a raise, a promotion. You're finding your dream job. You are doing very well career-wise this year in terms of with Jupiter there. Now, Jupiter will enter Leo in July of 2026, which is expansion in terms of your friendships, your community, your networks, your social circles. You might be meeting new people, diving into new connections, really being able to expand your community, expand your network, and maybe make new friends and network more and find like-minded people there with Jupiter in Leo. Now, where is change happening? So we have a South Node eclipse in Virgo in your 12th house. So it seems like this year you're really able to let go of some unconscious patterns and kind of go inwards and release some old ingrained patterns that have maybe kept you feeling stuck, and really release that. And I think that's really beautiful, that you're kind of able to just kind of start fresh internally with this South Node eclipse there in the 12th house. And opposite to that, we have a North Node eclipse in your 6th house of work. So again, this kind of goes back to your career and professional life, like I was just talking about. It does look like there are some pretty major changes to your everyday routine or work. Maybe you're taking on more work, taking on more responsibility. Again, that raise, that promotion, some work or job changes are really coming up here. And then we also have eclipses in your 5th house. So This is the house of pregnancy. So if you are looking to get pregnant, Libras, this would be a very positive indicator that maybe pregnancy or children could be coming. If not, this does look like changing dynamics in terms of romance and dating. So if you are single, I really do think that this could be a really good year or time to put yourself out there, 2026 and even 2027 too, to meet somebody new, especially with Saturn in your seventh house as well. But this could also be a resurgence of your creativity and your creative spark as well for Libra with the eclipse in the fifth house. And Libra, that is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Scorpio, this is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Scorpio, we start the year with Saturn entering your sixth house of health and work. Now, Saturn is the planet that represents discipline and structure and responsibility and challenges. So Saturn entering the sixth house, this is the house of work and health. So this can kind of feel like a time when you are taking on a lot of responsibility in terms of work. Maybe work really feels like a grind. You're really your daily work life becomes a lot, and you are taking on a lot of responsibility and a lot of discipline at work. But this can be a very pivotal time for you in terms of work. Or maybe you're shifting jobs, you're starting a new job, there are some changes in your current job, but there seems to be some pretty significant changes in your work life. This transit is really asking you to make sure that you have a routine, that you are disciplined in terms of work and health and your everyday life. So it can feel like a grind, but really asking you to develop that discipline and routine in terms of your daily work and health. Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and growth and ambition and opportunity, is currently in your ninth house, which is the house of spirituality and faith and religion and foreign places and foreign travel. So it looks like there can be this resurgence of faith and or spirituality or religion, and you can really be diving into that in your life and how you make meaning of life and your connection with the divine or God. This can also be a time where you're able to travel abroad or take a trip and expand your horizons. And that is a beautiful way to kind of experience this transit. It could also possibly indicate going back to school, higher education, expanding the mind, learning something new in some way. Now, Jupiter will enter Leo in July of 2026, which is your 10th house of career and professional life. This is a beautiful transit for you in terms of your career in finance or your career and professional life, kind of going back to what we talked about with Saturn in the sixth. It looks like there's some type of raise or promotion or new job, or, some type of like crowning achievement moment in terms of your professional life and your career. And again, this might mean that you need to take on more responsibility at work and again, be a little bit more disciplined. But it's time for you to take this new step. It's time for you to step into this next chapter of career. In terms of changes where the eclipses are, so we have a South Node eclipse in your 11th house, which is the house of friendships and community and networks. And so maybe you have found, maybe there are friendships or groups that you're a part of that no longer resonate with who you are, and you're kind of allowing that to step aside so you can kind of welcome some fresh energy in terms of your friendships or communities. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that they're bad or anything like that. You might just have outgrown these particular groups or friendships. And there's some new fresh energy coming to you in terms of friendships and groups and community. Now, there is a North Node eclipse in Pisces in your 5th house. So Scorpio rising, if you are looking to get pregnant or have children, this would be a beautiful transit to potentially get pregnant or have a baby. Also, this can look like new energy coming in terms of romance and dating. So if you're single and you want to put yourself out there, it's a beautiful time to do that. And this can also just be, a resurgence of your creativity, of your creative spark, of finding what brings you joy and what brings you pleasure. And we also have a North Node eclipse in Aquarius, which is your 4th house of home and family. This can really be diving into your home life, your family life. Again, this could look like moving, renovating, spending more time with family, or reconnecting with family or loved ones with that 4th house there. But if you are looking to move or renovate or spruce up your house, this could be the year to do that. So Scorpio, that is your 2026 horoscope. All right, Sagittarius and Sag rising, this is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Sag. Saturn will enter your 5th house. And the 5th house is the house that represents creativity and fun and romance and pleasure, and children and pregnancy. And Saturn is the house that represents challenge, restriction, discipline, maturity, and responsibility. So when Saturn enters the 5th house, it can feel like, okay, we need to restructure the ways that we have fun, the ways that we kind of experience pleasure in life. I have seen people go through this transit where their, experience of fun was going out to bars, and then they have this transit and they're like, oh, I don't really want to do that anymore. What is the kind of next level of what is fun besides like going out and partying, and really kind of rediscovering that in your life. You can find new creative hobbies or outlets or passions when Saturn enters the 5th house. This can also be a time where having children can really come to be a forefront idea for you, and you can really kind of get serious about the idea of having children or getting pregnant. And this can also be a good time to get serious about dating if you are single and looking for a relationship. So changing, past dating patterns and habits and getting really serious about what you want in a partner. Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion and growth and optimism, is currently in your 8th house, which is the house of finances. So it does look like financially there could be a loan, or you're able to secure a mortgage, you're able to secure a loan, there's an inheritance coming to you, there is some help or support there financially, or maybe alternatively there is help or a healer or some healing coming towards you mentally and emotionally to kind of help give you healing and provide some sort of like relief in a mental, emotional space to kind of help you with some emotional or mental pain, and processing that and really healing from that and finding new ways to cope and be better. Jupiter is entering Leo in July of 2026. So again, that planet of hope, expansion, optimism is entering your 9th house, which is the house of faith, spirituality, religion, and foreign travel and foreign places. So you can have this renewed sense of faith and hope and really diving into what is your connection to the divine? What is your connection to God? And really reestablishing what that means to you in your life during this transit. This would also be a beautiful time to take a trip abroad, to expand your horizons, to learn new things, but yeah, I really feels like a reconnection with divinity in your life. Now, in terms of career, we do have a South Node eclipse in Virgo in the 10th house. It looks like there could be some career changes or shakeups. If nothing has happened in 2025 for you already in terms of career, this could really be happening in 2026. This could look like you getting a new position, getting a promotion, but it does look like some pretty significant changes for you coming in terms of career. Now, alternatively, we do have some eclipses happening in your 4th house of home and family. So this could look like, again, moving, renovating, spending more time with home and family, or kind of changes to, relationships with family, maybe spending more time with family, or your parents or something like that, with those eclipses there in the 4th house. Now, lastly, you do have eclipses just starting to happen in your 3rd house in Aquarius. So this does look like changes to the way that you communicate, to reading, writing, speaking, making sure that you are speaking your mind, speaking your truth, communicating clearly with the people that you love, with your loved ones. This could also look like maybe taking a new course, trying something new, really exercising your mind in that way, maybe starting to journal, starting to write, really working on those communication skills coming up in 2026. And so, Sag, that is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, Capricorn. All of my fellow Capricorn risings, this is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, so Saturn will enter your 4th house starting in 2026 and will be there for the next couple of years until 2028. So this is a pretty big transit in that it's really putting the focus on home and family and living situation. So this could be, moving, renovating, really trying to find and define what makes you feel at home and safe and secure. This could be a time when you buy a house or you renovate, or you are uprooting or trying to find your forever home or your forever living situation. This can also be a time when potentially there can be some family challenges happening, and asking you to really find independence and kind of take responsibility for yourself in terms of your family or your family situation. Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion and hope and optimism, is currently in your 7th house of relationships and marriage. And so this does seem like a very positive time for you in terms of relationships. So this could be you find a partner, you get engaged, you get married, you're deepening your connection with your partner in some way. There's a lot of luck here coming for you in 2026 in terms of relationships and partnerships. Now, Jupiter will move into Leo in July of 2026, which is your 8th house. So this can be very good for you financially, in that you're able to secure a loan, secure a mortgage, like we've kind of talked about with the 4th house. You are able to, your partner potentially gets a raise or gets money or helps you out financially that way. It does seem like positive things financially. And alternatively, the eighth house is a very internal house. So Jupiter going into the eighth house can kind of be support or healing in terms of mental, emotional, psychological ways as well, with Jupiter there in the eighth house. Now, in terms of changes, we do have a South Node eclipse in Virgo in your ninth house. So it does look like there are some changes in terms of your faith, your spirituality, your religion. Maybe it's a time when you are really diving into more spiritual practices, or what makes you feel connected to something greater than yourself. Maybe that's astrology, maybe that's human design, maybe that's, something else spiritually that you feel connected to. This can be taking a trip abroad, or this can potentially have to do with higher education as well. Now, with the North Node eclipses in Pisces in your third house, this is a year where you are learning and will continue to learn communication, speaking your mind, speaking your truth. And really focusing on reading, writing, speaking, teaching, communicating, exercising your mind, learning something new, really making sure that your voice is heard and that your true, authentic voice can shine as well. Now, we also have a North Node eclipse starting in Aquarius in your second house. This does look like improvements for you financially as well. It looks like maybe you'll be making more money in some capacity. This could look like a raise. This could look like getting a new job. This could look like starting a new stream of income or revenue. But it does look like there is some changes to maybe the way that you make money, but it does look like a positive change in terms of you might be making more of it, or at least putting more time and effort into making more money, or, into the effort or that you put into your streams of revenue or your streams of income. So good things financially changing for you as well. And that is your horoscope for Capricorn rising. Okay, Aquarius rising. This is your 2026 horoscope. Okay, so Saturn has just entered your third house for 2026. Saturn is the planet that represents challenges, restriction, discipline, maturity. And the third house is really the house of communication, of reading, writing, speaking. It's the house of the mind. And so when Saturn enters here, it can really ask you to focus on, how am I communicating? Am I speaking my truth? It can really ask you to hone in on the way that you communicate, and really your communication challenges or barriers might be more evident during this transit, but it's asking you to kind of be aware of that. And so you can work on that and become more clear, a better communicator, more authentic speaker, speaking from your heart, not being afraid to share what's on your heart. This can be a time where, maybe you are being asked to speak your truth more. Reading, writing, speaking, all of those things can come in to play with Saturn transiting the third house. Now Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and opportunity and expansion and hope and luck, is currently in Cancer in your sixth house. This does look like luck or hope or expansion or growth in terms of work and health matters. So maybe there is A new work opportunity that has come or will come your way to make your work life easier. This can look like a raise, a promotion, finding a new job, some sort of like improvement there in terms of your work life. This can also be health related. So you can be able to find a health routine or a doctor or a treatment plan that can really help you when Jupiter enters your sixth house. So it can be very good for you in terms of health matters with this transit. Now, Jupiter will enter your seventh house of partnership and marriage starting in July of 2026. So this is a beautiful time for Aquarius to meet a partner, to deepen a relationship with a partner. Maybe you're getting engaged, maybe you're getting married, maybe you're moving into together. But this is a beautiful time for Aquarius in terms of relationships. Maybe you're deepening your connection with your partner. And if it's not a romantic partner, this can be any close one-on-one relationship. This can be a close friendship. This can be your best friend. This can be, just really leaning into your relationships. And again, kind of going back to that third house of communication, maybe I think that these two are related, and maybe you're able to deepen your connection with your partner because you're able to work on your communication more a little bit and actually speak your truth and speak your needs and what you need and want. Now, the eclipses are where you're experiencing change. And so we have a South Node eclipse in your eighth house. So this can look two different ways. First is financially. It can look like maybe you're able to like pay off a debt or pay off a loan, or have some changes financially in terms of, again, loans, mortgages, debts, that kind of thing. And this can also look more internal, like you are able to release past internal pain or trauma and really find some inner healing there with the eclipse there in Virgo in your eighth house. Now, this is also a North Node eclipse in Pisces in your second house. This looks very well for you financially. It looks like maybe there's more money coming in. There's some changes in terms of finances. Maybe you're putting more time and energy and effort into making money, and it's going to pay off. It looks like there are some positive financial changes coming for you as well. Now, lastly, we do have our first eclipse in Aquarius, which is your first house of self. And so this is really a time when you're redefining your sense of self. Maybe you're stepping into more of your true, authentic identity. With Pluto there, this can kind of strip you down of anything that's not authentic, anything that's not true to you, anything that's ego-driven, and have that fall away so you can really embrace a more authentic version of you. So this is a really beautiful beginning of that chapter for you for Aquarius rising. Okay, and last but not least, we have Pisces. Okay, Pisces, this is your 2026 horoscope. So Pisces, the good news for you is that you have had Saturn in your first house for the past 2 to 3 years, and it is now leaving your first house of self. So you might start to feel a little bit lighter, a little bit like not so much responsibility and maturity and discipline is required of you. And we are having a final eclipse in Pisces in your first house in August. So this can be, a time when you are working on your physical health, or you're able to really kind of finally step into this new sense of self, this new sense of identity without Saturn there. It feels much lighter. It feels much more authentic to you, and you're able to kind of rely on yourself more and stand up for yourself more, and really lean into a more authentic version of you, which is a really beautiful time for Pisces risings. Now that Saturn is moving into your second house, which is your house of money and finances. Saturn is the planet that represents maybe restriction or challenges or boundaries or discipline. So with Saturn going into your second house, this can be a time where maybe you're setting a budget for yourself, or you're setting financial goals for yourself, or you're really maybe a little bit more restricted financially than you're used to being or that you have been. But you're really being asked to like get your finances in order. This can maybe potentially relate to work, job changes. This can be maybe starting a new stream of revenue and really working really hard at making sure that this is taking off and going in the right direction there with Saturn in the second. Jupiter, which is the planet of luck and expansion and hope and optimism, is currently in your fifth house in Cancer. This does look very well for people who are wanting to get pregnant or wanting to have a child. This is a very fertile placement for that. This can also look like a resurgence in your creativity and your creative spark, and you can really be diving into your creative process or creative hobbies there. This can also be very positive for you in terms of your romantic life or your dating life, if that is something that you're looking for, especially because you also have an eclipse there in your seventh house of marriage and your house of relationships. So between that eclipse, that represents kind of changes happening in your relationships, and that Jupiter in the fifth house, which is dating and romance. If you're a single Pisces rising, this is a beautiful time for you. If you are a Pisces rising who's in a relationship, this can be a great time to, deepen a connection or a relation, or, deepen your relationship with your partner. This can be letting go of old dynamics with a partner, changing relationship dynamics with a partner, especially with that North Node eclipse in the first house. This can be really leaning into, yourself and standing up for yourself more. And that can, of course, change your relationships and change your relationship dynamics, but it can be in a very positive, beautiful way. Now, we also have an eclipse happening in Aquarius in your 12th house. This can be a time when you are really being asked to go inwards and look at some of your inner workings around your mental health, around your emotional well-being, and kind of dive inwards and maybe take a look around and see, okay, what's working for me in this area and what's not working for me in this area, and being able to release what no longer works and kind of update the software programming in your subconscious, your operating system. And with Pluto there, it's really kind of asking you to strip, to get real and to get deep and to strip down maybe some of that childhood wounding or childhood programming that no longer fits for the adult version of you. And now lastly, that Jupiter, that planet of luck and expansion and optimism and hope, the luckiest planet in astrology, is moving into Leo, which is your sixth house, in July of 2026. So this does look positive for you in terms of your work and health. So this could look like getting a different job, getting a promotion, getting recognized in some way at work. Alternatively, this can be health related. So, you can find resolve or healing in terms of any health related issues that you may have. But this looks very positive for you in terms of your daily work and health life and routines. But yeah, that is my horoscope for Pisces for 2026. Okay, that is all of the horoscopes for all 12 signs. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if anything resonates with you. And of course, these are very generalized horoscopes for each sign. But if you would like a deeper dive into your own personal chart, I do offer personalized one-on-one readings that you can get with me. You can book on my website, luckypunnyastrology.com. It is the forecast reading where we can really take a look at your own chart and dive deep and get even more personalized with what is going to happen for you in 2026.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for going through all of those. It was so nice. And it's so helpful to hear what area of life is going to be affected for all of us.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, of course. My pleasure.
And wishing you all a happy holiday, end of the year, whatever you're doing. And we will see you in 2026.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.